What's up guys, Visual here, but you can call me James, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how you can make a clean abstract desktop wallpaper. As you can see right now, I'm on a stock website. This is called Pixabay. Obviously a link to this will be in the description down below. You can go on the normal Pixabay website, or you can go on people's profiles. I don't know why it's coming up in a different language right now. I think it's because the person that I'm on, like the user, is in a different language. But anyways, you just have to look at the photos. This guy has some really good photos, and a lot of them already have color corrections on. This is the one that I actually use in my wallpaper, as you can see right now. If you do want to use that one, I'm probably going to be using a different one, so I'm going to go with this one over here. And as you can see, there's ones, if we scroll back down, there's ones like this that are perfect size for a phone wallpaper, but I'm going to go with this for a desktop wallpaper. So all you have to do, press this download button, press the large file size and the large picture size, just go to download, and then it will come up with one of these verifications. So just type in that on the screen and then just hit download, and as you can see it will download, and then you can just drag and drop that into Photoshop like so. Now when it's in Photoshop, all you want to do is head over to File, New at the top left corner, change your width to 1920 and then your height to 1080, and then just make sure you've got your resolution on 200, and that will keep it at a standard HD definition. And then once you've done that, just press OK, and as you can see you will create a plain white document. So all you have to do now is just get your select tool and just drag and drop that image into your desktop wallpaper size, and then if you press Control minus, you can zoom out, and then pressing Control T and holding down Shift you can change the size, but mine's perfect like this, so I'm just gonna move it, let's move it down a little. That looks good, and then once you've done, just hit enter, and as you can see the lines will go away. And also a lot of people say, how do you get those pink lines up here? All you have to do is press Control R on your keyboard, make sure you've got the rulers here on the side, and then press Control H, and you will see these pink lines appear which show you where the picture is centered. So that's a really good tip. So now what you want to do is go to where it says background, click on the lock icon, so you change that to a layer, then just double click on that to open up the blending options and change the color of the background to a plain black. You will see why later on in the video, and then once you've done that, just right click it and go to rasterize layer style, and now what you want to do is just add a couple of effects on this picture. So you can go ahead and use my CC pack. If I just open it up right now, you don't actually have to use this, but I will include a link to the video where I showcase this, and also the download link in the description down below, so I'll probably just leave the download link itself. And I just drag and drop the whole CC folder, and then you can just mess around. Personally, number 1 always looks good on a lot of photos, so I'm going to put number 1 CC on, and then lower the percentage of this down. I've actually put that on the wrong thing right there, so I'm just going to drag and drop this. Make sure number 1 is selected, and we're going to change the opacity of this to, let's say, 60%. You can mess around, see if any other CCs look good. I'm going to actually put on number 2, but I'm going to lower that down to, let's say, 15%, that looks good. And then what other CCs have we got here? You just need to mess around with ones, see if they work good with the photo. So I'm just going to try out all these different ones. I like the look of number 18, so I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to lower that down to, let's say, 10%. I'm just going to see if there's any other good ones. 17 looks really good, so I'm going to lower that one down. If you are using the same picture as me, I have, as you can see, number 1, number 2, 17 and 18 enabled, and yeah, I think those are the only really good ones for this picture. So now what I'm going to do is just close that CC group, make a brand new layer, and then just zoom out so you can see the whole desktop wallpaper, and then just grab your brush tool, increase the size of this brush, to around about 480 pixels, maybe 500, that will do, and then just add this black stroke on the sides of this desktop wallpaper. And as you can see right now, it creates a really weird effect, but once you lower down the opacity, as you can see, it looks really nice. And then if you make a brand new layer once again, so put that one on around about 18%, make a brand new layer and do the exact same, but this time do a smaller line like I'm doing right now, and then once again just lower the opacity of this to around about 10 or 9%, and then make a brand new layer once again, switch around so you have a plain white color as your foreground color. Grab the same size brush and then just add this white at the top of the picture, and then just lower down the opacity of this to around about 20%. That looks good. And then now what I'm going to do is go and mess around with the different effects here, so the hue and saturation and things like that. So first of all, I'm going to click here and I'm just going to go to solid color, make sure it's on fully black, and then change the blending option of this to overlay, and then lower down the opacity of this to as much as you want. I think personally around about 15% looks good, just makes it look a little bit darker, and for this picture it works so much better. And then I'm going to grab this tool once again and we're going to go to vibrance. As you can see here, if you up the vibrance, it's going to completely change the colors, and a lot of the time this does look so much better. So I'm going to actually increase the vibrance on this picture to plus, let's say plus 20, that will look good. And I'm also going to make a brand new effect. So let's go here, let's go to brightness and contrast, and we're going to lower down, actually I'm going to increase the contrast for this photo because I think it makes it look a little bit darker. So that's on -5, sorry, so we're actually decreasing it. And then you can increase or decrease the brightness and the actual brightness. I'm going to put that on 20. So I've got my brightness on 20, contrast on -5, vibrance on +20, and then color fill, that's just black, overlay, and on 15% opacity. So now that you guys have done most of the CCs, we're going to go to our actual picture here, make a brand new layer and grab the text tool here. Just click anywhere on your screen and then just get your text. I'm just going to lower this down. This was the last font I used actually, and the font we are using for this is called Gotham. So I'm going to be using, there's a bunch of different Gothams, but I'm going to be using Gotham, let's use Gotham Black, that looks good. And we're actually going to decrease the size of this. I will tell you what size I am using when I find a good size. So let's do it on around about, let's see, alright, 28.16 as my size of the font. It really depends on what text you're using as well. And then I'm just gonna type in the text. Let's type in the text visual, and then I'm actually gonna go here to the character map at the top, go to where it says VA, and then just increase this quite a bit. It depends on how much you want to increase it, and then after increasing this you may want to decrease the size. So I'm actually going to do this. You can keep it on 28.16 if you do wish, but I'm going to decrease this to around about 25, and then I can increase the VA a little bit more. But like I said, it's completely up to you whether you want to do this or not. And then once you've added the text, just center that into the middle using the rulers that we created at the start. And then once you've done that, you can then mess around with the color overlay of this. You can keep it on black, you can put it on white. Personally, I think white looks really good, but apart from this part. So we're actually going to do, we're actually going to add a black effect to actually fix that. So we're going to put our color on white. If you're using a different photo and you've picked a color and it looks good, then you can just skip this part, but it's something I would do. As you can see here, this bit doesn't look very good. So we're going to make a brand new layer below the text but above the picture. We're going to grab the brush tool and lower this down to around about let's say 228. That's a good size, and make sure you've got a foreground color of black, and then just add this black effect just below the text. As you can see, it's sort of like a big drop shadow, and you may not need it over on that side, so I'm actually going to erase it over here because this side looks alright. It's just that one over there, you can't really see the visual text very well, so I'm just going to lower that down. Let's see, 10% looks quite good. I don't really know what we can do with it. We're going to actually duplicate it, let's say, and set this to overlay. That may work. It really depends, like I said, on the picture you're using, but I just have to do this to this one because otherwise it won't look any good and you won't be able to see the text. So you're sort of starting to be able to see it now, so I'm just going to leave it at that. That looks quite good. And now what we can do is make the rectangle around it. As you can see right now, if we just go to our wallpaper, we're going to be making this rectangle that's actually behind the text, and then after we've done that we can start pen tooling out different objects and stuff like that. So I'm going to make a brand new layer just above what we just made and below the text, and then just grab your rectangle marquee tool and make a long rectangle right click it, go to stroke. Once you're on stroke, just make sure the width is on around about 10 pixels. The color can be anything, I'm setting mine to white, and then just hit OK. As you can see, 10 pixels may be the right size for a lot of people, but I'm actually going to go back and change that. So let's put mine on around about, let's say 6 pixels. That may look good. Yeah, 6 pixels looks good for me. I know I think I used 10 for mine, but I think 6 pixels looks a bit better, so that's why I did give you guys the option. Now what you want to do is just merge both of these layers, so your text layer and also your rectangle layer. So to do this, all you have to do, press Control on your rectangle, Control on your text, and then I'm actually going to group this, pressing that group icon in the corner. And then once you've grouped that group together, just press Control J and then press Control E on your keyboard, and as you can see, you will merge all of those layers together. And now what we're going to do is just mess around with the pen tool and just see what we can pen tool out. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pen tool out a couple things. So let's see, it really depends on what picture you're using and whether it looks good or not, but I'm going to actually pen tool this part out of the mountain. So if you want to, you can disable it and then start pen tooling. Like I said, really depends on what picture you're using, but if you're using this picture, you can pen tool out the same parts if you wish. But as you can see right now, I'm just pen tooling out this, and then we're going to go over to this part, and we're going to actually make sure we're not cutting the S off there. We're going to pen tool out this. It really depends, like I said, on the picture you're using. If you want to copy what I'm doing now, you can. And then we're going to pen tool that out. Let's have a look here. That looks quite good, but we're gonna go back to where we was. See how I'm gonna do this. Right, so there we go, we've just cut off that part. I'm actually gonna grab the eraser tool here, and this is where you can erase parts. So I'm gonna erase this little line right now, and let's just erase it until we get to this, get to like a certain point. That looks kind of good like that. As you can see, it looks like the mountain is actually like behind the mountain sort of thing. I think it looks really good, and we can also just do the same exact thing over here with this part of the mountain. So just a mixture between your eraser tool and also your pen tool, and I think that looks quite good. As you can see, it looks like it's behind the smoke sort of thing. And another thing you can do is with the text. So if you want to do this to the text, it's the exact same thing. You did merge the layers, so it will work. You can't do anything with this V and I over here, but if we look over to this side, we can see this. Can we do anything? We can actually do a bit with the L over here, so I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit so I can see. Sometimes if you zoom in too much, it's just a bit too close, but if you zoom out, you can do that pressing Control and minus. And I'm just gonna grab this part here, and we're going to pen tool out that part of the L, and then pressing delete on our keyboard will delete that. As you can see, it doesn't look too good. It sort of looks like it's behind that point, but I don't really like it. I guess it may not work. It also depends on the actual letters you're using. If you're using different letters, then it may work better, but as you can see here, there's not really much else we can do with this. Maybe we can do something with this S right here. You just have to sort of experiment, I guess, see if there's anything you can do. Don't know how good. No, see, that doesn't look really good. Sometimes you may need to experiment, like I did say, but I'm gonna probably even leave it at that. You get the idea of how to actually pen tool out stuff anyway. So if you do wish to pen tool out something, I suppose I could do one bit in the corner over here if we wanted to. Let's just pen tool this out. Yeah, that looks kind of nice. As you can see, it looks like it's behind this as well, and sort of creates a nice effect, but you do get the idea of how to actually make the text go behind things and certain objects and stuff like that. So now to finish it off, we're going to do a couple of effects. We're going to grab a new layer, and we're just going to get the brush tool, make sure it's on a size of around about 300 pixels, and just grab the white brush tool and then just dab white parts random places in the actual picture, and then set the blending option of this to overlay. And as you can see, it just makes it stand out a little bit more. I'm going to actually erase this part of the text though, it doesn't look very good over there. And yeah, that looks good. We're actually going to make a brand new layer once again, and I'm just going to finish this off by adding another black outline on the sides of the picture. This always works good at the end and also the start, like we did at the start. Let me lower this down to, let's say, 15%, and then we're gonna finish this off with a couple of effects. So we're gonna grab the top layer and the bottom layer, holding down shift on the top one, holding down shift on the bottom one, and press that little group icon, group the layers together, and then if you press Ctrl J on your keyboard, you can duplicate that group, press Ctrl E after that, and then press Ctrl J, and now we're going to add a couple of effects. So first of all, we're going to go to filter, we're going to go to filter gallery, select glowing edges. This may work good, it really depends on what picture you're using, and then just press OK, and then set the blending option of this to overlay, and then lower down the opacity of this to around about 3%. I know it sounds really low, but it does add extra sharpness to the picture. Then just merge them by pressing Ctrl E on both of them, and then duplicate that with Ctrl J, go back to filter, blur, select Gaussian blur, put that on 8 pixels, hit OK, and then just grab your eraser tool, make sure you did duplicate the layer so you can erase parts, and then just grab your eraser tool and then just erase parts of the text, and basically not the background, just things you want blurred. And as you can see, this looks kind of nice here, and I'm going to lower down the opacity of this to, let's say, 20% will look good, and then we're going to merge both of these layers once again by pressing Ctrl on the top one, Ctrl on the bottom one, and then just pressing Ctrl E. And then the last and final effect is to press Ctrl J, go to filter, select other, then high pass, put this on 9 pixels, hit OK, change the blending option over here to overlay, and as you can see, that creates a really nice effect. Whether you want that on full 100% or not, it's completely up to you and what picture you're using, but I'm gonna lower this down to, let's say, I'm gonna put it on 30%, and I think that looks really good. You can finish it off by adding some CCs. Let's have a look here. I'm gonna try to find some CCs. I did in my Behance project, I had a really nice CC, so let's see if it looks any good with this. We're just gonna grab this and add it into the picture. It may not look good. See, this is the CC that I did make. I may be releasing a CC pack 2, but as you can see, if we lower down the opacity of this, it looks kind of nice. This is without, I'll show you here, wait, let me zoom in. This is without the CC, this is with the CC, so it definitely makes it stand out. So if you do want to see a second CC pack, then let's try and get this video to, let's see, how many likes should we say? Okay, let's say 100 likes. If we can get this video to 100 likes, then I will do a second CC pack. And also, if you made it this far into the video, comment down below, hashtag I watched this all, and I will know you have made it this far into the video. Hope you guys did enjoy once again. This has been Visual or James, and I'm out. Peace.